Okay, new project. Just gonna do a small vessel. I poured this around basically an olive stick. I mean, it's not, the wood's not real fancy, but the pour turned out really good. It's a combination of, looks like violet and orange epoxy. The other thing turned out nice, the pour worked out really well. I guess my mold was good because it's almost turned round. Not turned round, the mold was almost round, so I have very little work to do to actually turn this round. Which is nice, because that just means I have less material to take off. So we'll get started. Just starting the shaping to knock off the small pieces that are not perfectly round. I always use on epoxy. Epoxy is a lot, much harder than wood. And I always use negative rake tools. These are from Easy Wood Tools, but the negative rake, the blades have a slight downward angle on them. So when it rolls against the epoxy, it's kind of at a downward angle and it spins off long streamers of epoxy. If you use, put it this way, if I use regular flat grind tools to shape, maybe some people can do it, I'm not one of them. The epoxy, I get a lot of tear out and I get chips of little bits of glass going everywhere, and it ruins the entire blank. So I use the flat square blades from Easy Wood. I also use, I've got a pointed triangular blade that I use. There's basically three that I use, and then the round negative rake. So these are the primary tools I use just to get my general shapes, and the hollowing system is a completely different system that I can talk about later. So right now, I'm just gonna go about making sure this is perfectly round, and we'll go from there. You see I got a little bit of a wobble at the front that I got to turn down. Not much though. That's almost turned around. It's close. So this is a thin blank, and I'm gonna have to be careful not to waste any material. I'm gonna have a lid. I'm gonna try to form the lid and the body of the vessel together. So I'm gonna, right now, since I've got it going, I'm gonna cut a tenon on this end that I'm gonna use when I start cutting and shaping the lid. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut my tenon now. And I'm just using an angular skew to just, it kind of, when I at this angle, it matches what the tendon's supposed to look like. So it's really easy to use this. Okay. Now I got to kind of figure out where my lid's going to start. So what I'll do is I'll make a mark, and I'll go in with a cutter and just cut a notch where I want the separation between the lid and the vessel. I won't go too deep, but I want to just get it marked. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut off the piece for my lid that I'm going to use later. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off now so I can continue working on the vessel. I'm gonna go ahead and just use the saw for the rest of this. There we go. Okay, so I'll use this for later. Now I'll just focus on the body of the vessel itself. This is what the negative rake does. That's what it's supposed to do. A lot of long streamers. Okay, so I think it's obviously a small vessel. It was a small blank. So I think I've got the shape I want. I'm gonna just cut a channel in the top where I want the lid to attach. I'm gonna cut the channel again with just a cutoff tool. And I'm gonna cut the channel just the same width as the cutoff tool. Okay, so I've got a channel. That's where my my lid's gonna go. So normally I would go ahead and start hollowing this and then attach the lid later. But I'm going to go ahead and fit the lid into the channel. Mainly because I'm gonna start turning them together. I'm gonna turn the lid and the vessel together. And if I hollow first, I could get the wall too thin and I could potentially break through it. So I'm gonna do the lid right now. It's almost too small for those jaws. Okay. First, I'm going to go ahead and just cut the outer ring down. Okay, I got the vessel to fit. I just need to adjust my depth. So it goes all the way to the end. All right, now I'm going to reverse things. I'm going to put the vessel back on the original chuck. I'm going to put this up against my tailstock. All right, so I'll bring my tailstock back up. And what I'm going to do, attempt to do, is make these two pieces more seamless than anything else. So I'm going to have to carve this into the shape of the vessel, so I need to carve this way down. And I need to carve it lightly because there's not a lot. I don't want too much pressure being put on the entire project. Okay, let's see if this works. Now, if you can see, I'm going to start cutting a channel out of the center of this because I need to get in to make this thing flush with the vessel itself. So I'm going to try and get in here and just remove some of this material so that I can get in and carve the shape of the vessel exactly like the lid. Well, that happens too. We got kind of a mess up here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna need to take a little bit more off here. So luckily I still have my tenon. And just to show you why I'm doing this, when these are together, I want them to be as flush as possible. And you can see there's a slight gap. So I'm going to try to shave this lip down a little bit to get this to seat farther in. There. Much better. Much better. All right, now we're going to flip it around again. Okay, we're back. I think this is going to line up nice. Okay. Okay, slight detour there. Now we're back. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's as far as I'm going to go with this because I'm gonna go ahead and hand sand it because I'm gonna have to put the lid on to the chuck itself to form the last bit and cut off the end, the little tip here that I'm not going to use. I'm going to make a kind of cavern and put a circular stone in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start the sanding then. But you can see it's actually worked out kind of nice because you can actually let me see. Be careful. I don't know if you can see. You can see where everything kind of matches up on the lid. This is really kind of cool. So let me go ahead and tighten this up a little bit. And I'm going to sand the lid and the base together. Okay, now let's see what we've got. Put some alcohol on this and kind of see where we are. There we go. Okay, we'll put some sanding sealer on here, and then we'll do a little bit of wood turner's paste. Okay, it's looking good. I always do like a final polish. You can use whatever you'd like, or you can, I've got a buffer if you want a satin finish. I usually will take this and overnight put a coat of Waterlux and let that dry and cure. Gives it kind of a nice shine if that's what you like. So 2 things left to do. We have to finish this lid. Careful with that. And we have to hollow. So I think we're gonna finish the lid first. And then we'll hollow. Okay, here's where I gotta be very careful. I can't break any of this. So I honestly can't tighten this very much. Just enough. To finish the lid. Let's see. It's pretty good. Okay, that's kind of what we're going for. Now let me see if I can hollow it without breaking it. Okay, I've got my hollowing system set up. By the way, this is a Trent Bosch hollowing system, and this is nice because this is the only system I know of that kind of lets you see inside the vessel when you're turning it. So as you can see, when the tool goes into the vessel, I've made dry erase marks on the screen where the tip of the tool is, plus another second line that's another 1/4 inch relative to what thickness I want. So you can do it any way you'd like, but I generally do a 1/4 inch and then go a little bit deeper just to finish it off. But anyway, that's kind of what you're seeing on the screen from what these marks are. So let's see if we can hollow this without breaking anything. So little did I know, my video cut off yesterday. My battery died. So anyway, we finished the hollowing and the top. We've got some water lux. Turned out really nice. You can see there's almost no indication that there is an actual top. So, which is kind of exactly what I was going for. Anyway, I think it turned out good.